What is going on, baseball fans? The Mets suffer a loss with Robinson Cano being suspended for steroid use. But is it actually that big of a loss? Let's get into it.
Wake up the Don Bambino and have me face him. Maybe I'll drill him in the ass.
And what is going on, baseball fans? How are we doing on this lovely Wednesday evening? What do you know? Once again, not much baseball news today, but there was one big story that kind of took over the news today, and that is Robinson Cano getting suspended for the 2021 season, his second offense of performance-enhancing drug use. So he has been suspended before. Now he's suspended again, but this time it's for the whole season. But today I'm going to kind of talk about why that's actually kind of a good thing, at least in my opinion. But how is everyone doing tonight? I figure we're not going to have too big of a crowd in here tonight. You got the NBA draft on tonight. I'm seeing 15 people in here so far. Let me actually update this. Yeah, about 15 people right now. So I'm not expecting a big turnout tonight. I wanted to kind of get a quick stream in, talk about Robinson Cano, since that is the big news of today. Again, I was kind of waiting around today to see if anything big was going to happen. Then all of a sudden, bam, there it is. Robinson Cano getting suspended. And it's not just the fact that he was suspended. It's kind of the fact that it opens up a lot of doors for the Mets. And that's why I think it's maybe not that big of a loss, where we'll kind of go over Robinson Cano a little bit, but then we'll get into some options that the Mets have. But let me kind of take a look at who we got in here. I'm seeing Hayden, what's going on? Orioles 2041, what's going on? Drew Venny, hello, hello. Kira, what is going on? How are we doing? Yes, Timberwolves fan. Should we trade down or get Anthony Edwards? I don't know. This NBA draft seems a little, I don't know. I'm not really hearing any like big names except for like LaMelo Ball. I mean, you never know with that Ball family. I have no idea. Kind of waiting to see if my Celtics do anything. They're always in rumors around this time of the year. So my guess is that they probably won't do anything like they always do. There's always these rumors about the Celtics every single year around the draft, and then they end up not doing anything. So I'm not going to buy into the draft hype this year. I'm seeing Tyler in here. Eric, what's going on? Icy Ghosts, hello, hello. Edmund19, hello, hello. What is going on? But, alrighty, let's kind of get into this. So let's get the main story up first. So I'll put up the tweet that the New York Mets released. Let me share the screen. The statement that was released by Sandy Alderson: we were extremely disappointed to be informed about Robinson's suspension for violating Major League Baseball's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program. The violation is very unfortunate for him, the organization, our fans, and the sport. The Mets fully support MLB's effort toward eliminating performance-enhancing substances from the game. Let's get real here. Stop it. Sandy Alderson, this is a publicity move. You know you are absolutely stoked for not having Robinson Cano on your team this year. I'm sorry. They have to be laughing so hard in the background. They were probably giggling while typing this. I'm not even kidding. They were probably hysterical typing this. You know why? Because they don't have to pay Robinson Cano any money. Look at how much this guy was going to get paid. $24 million. They are probably they have to be the team that benefits the most of all time from a team losing a player due to a season-long suspension. They don't have to pay this guy $24 million. And it's not like Robinson Cano is a bad player. He actually had a pretty decent season He's had a couple of rough years, but he actually looked okay this past year. Had an 896 OPS, 10 homers, 316 batting average. He was doing some stuff for the Mets. Maybe defensively. Let me take actually a look where he was looking defensively. I mean, not great defensively. The defensive WAR was in the negatives, so you kind of like to see a little more out of your second baseman. But Robinson Cano, he's not getting any younger. This to me was just such... I remember when they traded for him, and I was thinking, man, this guy's not getting any younger. Why are the Mets trading for him? They gave up Jared Kelenic for him. I was a little confused about this trade when it first happened, and they brought in Diaz as well. The Diaz part of that trade I thought was great, but then they were kind of just getting Cano. I mean, when they brought in Cano, first off, they were bringing in this massive contract, but Cano... with Seattle in 2018, I mean, he did okay, but, I mean, it's not really kind of what you were looking for. I mean, he was 35 at the time, had 10 home runs in that 2018 season, 50 RBIs. He had a decent OPS. I mean, he wasn't anything great, but he was kind of hurt that year. But then he came over to the Mets, and he just kind of stunk. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great either. Not really what you want to be paying, $24 million to a guy. So, I mean, like I said, he improved a little bit this past year. But if you are the Mets, you are ecstatic that Cano is gone. You at least for this year, you are going to have Cano next year or 2022. I mean, again, he's going to be making $24 million in 2022 and then $24 million in 2023. So they get a break for this year. But now this opens up a lot of possibilities for the Mets. And I came up with 3 options for what the Mets can do. So let me kind of see what your reactions are so far. I'm seeing 24 people in the chat. Before I move on, if you are just coming in, hit that thumbs up for me. It's really going to help this stream get out to more baseball fans. We could definitely use the thumbs up tonight. We got the NBA draft on tonight, so I think people might be more focused on basketball tonight. So if we can get that thumbs up, get a couple more baseball fans in here, that would be fantastic. If you are just coming in, you have no idea what the heck is going on. We are talking baseball all the time here, so hit that subscribe button, or at least think about it if you are looking for some more baseball news. But yeah, so let's get into it. So let me pull up my first option. Oh no, I didn't put the right pictures. Hold on, let me put the right pictures real quick. Let's do this on the fly here. Oh man. Oh, I didn't put the options. Here we go. So option number 1 is sign DJ LeMahieu. So signing DJ LeMahieu to me is the most obvious pick here. I mean, when you really think about it, you're losing a second baseman in Robinson Cano, but let me share my screen here. But then that just opens up the door for another second baseman, and that's DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu is one of the best free agents out there right now. You just took a bunch of money off of the books with Robinson Cano. DJ LeMahieu just seems to be just a natural fit here. This just now opens up a possibility for DJ LeMahieu to just go across town and just go to the Mets. Now, I don't know if this makes it more likely that you bring in a DJ LeMahieu. I mean, I would think the Mets might be kind of thinking, well, okay, DJ LeMahieu is going to cost a lot of money. He's probably going to be requiring anywhere from 5 to 6 years. Do we really want to be giving a big contract like this to a guy where we're going to be paying him a lot of money when he's 36, 37 years old? Do you really want that? Even 38 years old, maybe. So if you're the Mets, you kind of maybe have to be thinking, well, do we maybe give DJ LeMahieu's agent a call, see what it's going to take? I think they kick the tires on him. And I think if they could bring him in, that would really help improve the top of that lineup. I think he would be a great fit, at least in the short term. Long term, I don't know if the Mets are going to want to do this, but it is just such a natural fit. I mean, it's just hilarious to me that Cano. It almost makes me wonder, did the Mets maybe sprinkle in some performance-enhancing drugs into Robinson Cano's milkshake during one of his off days, and then all of a sudden he tests positive, and now they can go sign DJ LeMahieu? So maybe the Mets, conspiracy theory, the Mets actually did this so they could go get DJ LeMahieu. I'm kidding. That definitely did not happen. But I do think it's hilarious that, just you clear off $24 million, and now you have a guy like DJ LeMahieu staring at you right in the face. He's a New York guy, at least for the past couple of years. So he is definitely familiar with Queens. He's been there a couple of times already. So I don't know. I think this could be a good fit. And it's not that he can just play second base. He can play third. He can play first. He can move all the way around. He can hit for average. He can hit for a little power. He's just a guy that is going to improve your lineup. So what do you all think of this option? Do you think DJ LeMahieu could be a good fit for the Mets? Tell me what you think down below in the comments. I'm actually going to really quick hold on real quick. I'm going to fix all this because I forgot to add in my little graphics. So hold on one second. Is there a way I can fix this? Hold on. I got to fix these. Whatever. I'll just kind of get back to it in a second. Darn it, man. I completely forgot to switch those around. Whatever. What do you guys think? Are we thinking DJ LeMahieu is a good fit? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Give me a thumbs down if you think DJ LeMahieu is not a good fit. What do you think? Jackson, you give it a double thumbs up. Absolutely. Anyone else? Hayden is saying a thumbs down. He wants McNeil at second base, and that could be maybe another one of my options. So I'm not seeing many thumbs up or thumbs down. Maybe, I don't know, are some of you a little in between? I'm not really quite sure. But let me go over my next option really quick. So again, I forgot to upload the pictures, so we're going to do it as we go. We're going to do this on the fly. My next option number 2, here we go, is to move Jimenez to second base and get a shortstop. So Andres Jimenez, he really showed a great glove at shortstop. Now, I think Jimenez could be able to slide over to second. I mean, I know you like that defense at shortstop, but I mean, if you have a chance to maybe get a guy like a Francisco Lindor, or maybe you could bring in someone like an Andrelton Simmons. Could you imagine those two up the middle? What fielding you would have with those two. Andrelton Simmons at short and then Andres Jimenez at second. That could be one of the best double play tandems in the game. That would be insane. So you have that possibility there. You could maybe bring in a guy like Marcus Semien, who is also a really good glove at short, and he had a really good offensive season a couple years ago. He started to heat up. You got maybe Didi Gregorius sitting out there who will give you a pretty decent glove at short. Nothing spectacular, but he'll get the job done. He'll give you some offense. So there are some options out there where, and again, getting back to Francisco Lindor, you could bring in a Francisco Lindor and you just move Jimenez over to second. I mean, there are so many possibilities here where you just have so much flexibility now, where you can maybe bring in a DJ LeMahieu. You could maybe bring in someone like a Francisco Lindor. Jimenez can move over to second. That could be amazing. What a double play tandem. I don't know. I keep thinking about the possibility of a Jimenez and Andrelton Simmons combination. Oh, that would be insane defense up the middle. I know you're not going to get much offense with Andrelton Simmons, but it's fun to think about. I can't help but think about that. So what do you think about this option? Do you think the Mets could move Andres Jimenez over to second and then go after a shortstop? What do you think in the chat? Give me a thumbs up if you think that would be a good option, or give me a thumbs down if you don't like that option, or maybe you think they could go with something else. Hayden, the Mets fan, is saying no. He wants Andres Jimenez to stay at short. Victor is giving it a double thumbs down. Hey, Drew, we are talking. I don't know. Josh Hader, I mean, that could definitely be a decent option, but right now that is not really fitting in to kind of, what the Mets maybe could be looking for, maybe either at second base or short, or maybe, and we're going to get to the next option here in a second. So Kevin Kim with the thumbs down, Jared Grant with the thumbs up. So maybe you could trade Andres Jimenez and maybe get a Josh Hader. I don't know. It could be interesting. I don't know. Andres Jimenez is a great glove. Maybe they could work something out. That could be interesting. So Now, Fat Kid 343, it's funny that you mention a guy like George Springer, because now that opens up my next option. So, of course, you're going to see the Cubs graphic. I apologize. I can't believe I forgot to switch these. I knew I forgot to do something, but here we go. Option number 3 is move Jeff McNeil to second base and go ahead and sign an outfielder. So this, to me, I think could be maybe the best option. I think you could move a Jeff McNeil to second base, and I think there's a lot of possibilities that the Mets could do when it comes to outfield. The guy that comes right off the jumps right off the screen. Let me come share my screen back with you. Would be a George Springer. That right there just jumps right at you. You can move McNeil over to second, put Springer over in center. If we actually go take a look at the depth chart real quick. Let me share the screen. Here we go. So the Mets depth chart. So as of right now, they have Jeff McNeil listed in left field. But you could definitely move him over to second base. He is the 4th second baseman as of right now. So Jeff McNeil could shoot up right to the top of second base and definitely play there. But as of right now, he is listed for left field. You got Nimmo in center, and you got Conforto in right. So now you could maybe slide over Nimmo, or maybe you could slide Nimmo over to right. Maybe Conforto can play left, and then you could have Springer play center. This opens up maybe the possibility of maybe a Marcell Ozuna. The Mets were just linked to Marcell Ozuna, which I find to be a bit of a coincidence. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting that the Mets were just linked to Marcell Ozuna just a couple of days ago? You were seeing those rumors a couple of days ago, and that was in a couple of streams where I talked about that. And I was thinking, well, I don't know. He doesn't really fit into what they're trying to do. They already have all these offensive outfielders. But now it could make a little more sense. But isn't it just quite a coincidence that just a couple of days ago, Marcell Ozuna was getting linked to the Mets? Maybe the Mets knew about this a couple of days ago, and word got out about maybe them calling up Marcell Ozuna. That's interesting to think about. I don't know. It could be interesting. Maybe the Mets have known about this for a few days now. But that is a possibility as well, where you could have Marcell Ozuna just shift over or sign him, have him play left, and have Jeff McNeil move over to second. So you'd be getting a huge offensive boost with Marcell Ozuna. Like I said, you could go after George Springer. Maybe you could. I mentioned this in my free agent predictions. I personally think the Mets need more defense. I predicted the Mets to sign Jackie Bradley Jr. Now, it really depends on what the Mets are trying to do. I think Jackie Bradley Jr., he would be much cheaper than Springer, much cheaper than Ozuna. You're getting a really good glove out in center field with Jackie Bradley Jr., one of the best gloves in the game. I'm not trying to be biased by any means, but has anyone seen Jackie Bradley Jr. play center field? The guy is a beast out there. So you could bring in a Jackie Bradley Jr., play some center. You could shift Conforto over to left, and then maybe Nimmo, you can move him over to right, and you got Jackie Bradley patrolling that stadium out in center field. So that could be an interesting option. There are a lot of options here for the Mets, and that's what makes this kind of exciting. I mean, like I said, I think if you're the Mets, sure, maybe it doesn't make your organization look great that one of your top paid guy just got busted for steroids and now he's suspended for the whole year. Publicity wise, probably doesn't look all that great. But if you're a Mets fan, I'm sorry, but I think Mets ownership were just laughing hysterically at the fact that they said that when Robinson Cano got busted for that, I think they were as happy as can be. I mean, come on, you got out of paying Robinson Cano, who's 38 years old now, I believe. You got out of paying him $24 million. If you're the Mets, you got to be absolutely stoked about that. It clears up a lot of payroll. So, I don't know, no disrespect to Robinson Cano. I mean, again, I don't know what the heck this guy's even doing. Come on, man. You're 38 years old. You're getting to the end of your career. I understand you're trying to play well. You're trying to, live up to the expectations of your contract. But come on, my friend. What are you doing? You're taking what was the PED you tested positive for? Stanzolol? Is that what you call it? But yeah, so again, Robinson Cano, getting out of paying him $24 million, that's a huge plus. And now it just increases a lot of flexibility for the Mets. Like I said, you could go after a few different things here. You could maybe sign a DJ LeMahieu. You could go after a shortstop, whether if it's Francisco Lindor. Maybe you really want some better fielding, and you can bring in a Simmons and have him go along with Jimenez. You could bring in a Marcus Semien. Or you could go for an outfielder. You could go after a George Springer. You could go after a Marcell Ozuna. If you really want some defense out there, you could go after a Jackie Bradley Jr. There's a lot of different options here for the Mets. And I think, honestly, this is great news. If you're a Mets fan now, it just feels like the stars are just like aligning right now for the Mets. Even when a bad thing happens, it's good. I mean, how could you be mad at this? I mean, if you're a Mets fan, you got to be completely happy with this. But let me see what you guys think about that last option. Do you think the Mets should go after an outfielder? Do you think that would be a good thing? You could have McNeil shift over to second base, and you can go after an outfielder. Give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. What do you think about that option? So, I mean, that's possible too, Kevin. You can go after an Adam Eaton, a Jock Peterson. I mean, you could maybe you could move Smith over to left field. That's an option too. So I think the main thing here is it gives the Mets flexibility. So Cano being at second base, he was just this $24 million I can't even think of the word. He was just blocking everything at second base. He was eliminating so many possibilities. But now that he's gone, there are so many possibilities for this upcoming year. So very interesting to see what is going to happen with that. But everyone, that is all I have for tonight. I kind of wanted to just have a quick stream tonight. Nothing too long, nothing too crazy. But yes, everyone, we have the basketball draft on tonight. I'm not sure if anyone in here is really too interested in that tonight. So I figured we weren't going to get as many people in here tonight, but that's okay. But that is all I have for tonight, everyone. And if we have some more baseball news tomorrow night, I will be back here right in this seat to talk some more news. So everyone, have a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.